Almost 3 years now I have encountered what sounded like children inside the Lamb House. Due to my skepticism, I had doubts about these encounters of children. Based on my personal beliefs, there's no way a child would become trapped in the afterlife. There are some who believe demonic entities pose as children as a means to deceive the living. I do believe this is a possibility. However, some encounters I've had with child spirits left me with no doubt it was an actual child spirit. Most child spirit encounters I've had, the child seemed happy, laughing and playing as if nothing was wrong. This happened at Ruggles Cemetery here in Carmel. Half of the burials at Ruggles Cemetery are in fact children. Many times at the Lamb House I have heard the voice of a child say hello, hi, or made comments about their mother. Last year I visited the murder scene in northern Maine where a father and his 10-year-old son and a family friend were murdered. To my surprise, I captured the EVP of what sounded like the voice of the 10-year-old boy. I couldn't help but wonder, is it possible to hear the voice of a child if that child is of the age of accountability, or if the child went through a traumatic death? Over the past 2 years, the name Abby has come up at the Lamb House. What these spirits said about Abby caused a lot of confusion, not having a full understanding. Is Abby an adult or a child? Some of these spirits claim Abby committed suicide, and some of these spirits said Abby was murdered. Who was Abby? Who was the child spirit at the Lamb House? Based on the different child voices I've heard in this house, I have determined there is more than one child spirit. And I've also determined there could be more than one Abby that these spirits are talking about. Due to the coronavirus, I've been stuck in the Lamb House for days. I take advantage of this, pull out the equipment, and I start an investigation into the mysteries of the names mentioned by spirits at the house. Abby, Elizabeth, who are these child spirits? And even more strange, whose house is this? These investigations constantly led me back to a child. In this investigation, with information provided by these spirits, I carefully put the pieces of the puzzle together. When I saw the picture on this puzzle, I was beyond amazed. This is the step-by-step investigation searching for answers. During this investigation, I can hear some of the voices. During the ghost and spirit box sessions, I only hear part of what they say. This can be aggravating at times because in real time, if you've heard what they said, you can ask questions based on what they're trying to tell you. Unfortunately, when doing these investigations, a lot of time what these spirits say has to be slowed down to understand what they said. I'm getting set up to do an investigation. But first off, I wanted to tell you guys I thank you for talking with me. And I hope you understand that I do kind of have an understanding of what's going on and what your situation is. I have somewhat of an understanding, not a full understanding. So I do these investigations and talk with you guys to gain a full understanding and to be able to confirm what you guys are trying to tell me. So please be patient with me as I'm trying to understand what the full situation is. As I'm trying to understand what the full situation is that you guys are going through. Okay? So when I do these recordings and I talk to you about this, try as hard as possible to talk with me about it to help me understand more. All right? Okay, I'm going to start recordings. I will be using 4 cameras during this investigation. the amplified mic cam, an old cell phone camera, HD camera, and the SOS cam. The more cameras you use during an investigation, the higher chances you'll capture an EVP or disembodied voices. I show examples during this investigation how one camera can capture an EVP and another camera will not capture the same EVP. The child in here, do you know my name? I'm heading to the basement door. When I opened the door, I thought I heard the disembodied voice of a female. The sound of her voice was so fast I wasn't sure if this was from the door making sounds or the voice of a female spirit. Not long after I heard this voice, I feel cold on my left shoulder. I turn the camera to look. This time I clearly hear the voice of another female. I have no doubt the first female voice was in fact an EVP. She mentions the name Megan. Many times the name Megan comes up during these investigations. To hear these voices more clearly, I digitally enhance this and slow this down as I do with all these EVPs and other disembodied voices captured during these investigations. Is there anybody down in the basement right now? Hattie? Edmund? Whoa. What'd you say? Whoa. What'd you say? Whoa. What'd you say? Whoa. What'd you say? Hello? Elizabeth or Abby, please. Is there anybody upstairs? After hearing the disembodied voice by the basement door, at this time I don't hear anything out of the ordinary that would be considered paranormal related. I'm going to do a ghost box session. I hope to find answers about Elizabeth, Abby, and who this child is. I have a lot of reservations about this child spirit. At this time I'm not sure what to think about this. Okay, I got the ghost box on. Can you tell me what the child's name is, please? Did you say Hannah? Who is buried down here? Are you guys afraid of this basement? Are you guys afraid of this basement? I understand why it scares me, but tell me what it is. Do you know what caused you to become trapped? What caused you to become trapped? Did you say evil? Is there something evil trapping you, or did you do something evil in your lifetime? Hello? You're here? You're all here? Can you guys talk to me about this? You say you want help because you're trapped. What's trapping you? Can you not talk about it? Did something happen in this house that caused you to become trapped? Patty, are you trapped? How did you become trapped? Edmund, are you trapped? I take this investigation back to the basement. I don't often use the obelisk, but this time I'm going to use it during this investigation. Who's in this basement? Did you just say something? Whoa. Who's in this basement? I have this obelisk spirit box set up, if you can use it.
Cleansing. Cleansing.
Cleansing? Well, I just heard that growl.
Pass. Pass.
Hello? Why are you down here? Edmund, Hattie, Abby, Elizabeth. What's going on in this basement? Who's the child? Why is the child here? What's going on in this basement?
Problem. Spirits.
Spirits are in this basement? Are you able to...
Hurry. Female.
Where's the female buried at?
Round. Many. Menor. Chased.
Who are you? What is your name?
Nida.
Why are you here?
Property.
This is your property?
Asida. Herb.
What?
Flight. Tom. Moist.
What kind of spirits are in this basement? Well, I heard that whisper. Is there anything you want to say before I walk out of here?
Dust.
What'd you say? I heard a disembodied voice just now. What?
You said.
Where's Abby? Where's Abby buried?
Under. Isabel. Non. Spirits. Shot.
Who was shot?
OSNO. Chased. Burn. Yourself. Supper.
I try to gather as much information as possible while trying to figure out what's going on with these spirits here at the Lamb House. Where's Abby at? Does this room I'm standing in here have anything to do with Abby at all? What the hell? Does this garage have anything to do with Abby? I know who Elizabeth is. Elizabeth Kimball. But what happened to her? Who is Abby? And is there somebody buried under this garage? Help you? I heard that. Are you buried under this garage, under the mudroom? Who said help me? The female. What is your name, please? What happened to you? Whoa. There are moments these investigations become frustrating. While trying to solve the mystery of who Abby is, it seems like every time I ask about this, I don't get the answers I'm looking for. No further activity was captured in the upstairs garage. Who's the female right here that keeps asking for help? What about Elizabeth? Hello? Abby. Elizabeth. Hello? Hello? I swear I heard females talking. Abby? Elizabeth? Hat? Whoa. That was a loud child voice coming from this room. Hello? It's my phone charger. Is there a child up here? Hello? Patty? The next day, I continue this investigation in the dining room. While trying to do an EVP session without using a spirit box, I have to cut this investigation short due to the amount of traffic outside. Who's the child in here? Are you looking for your mother? Did something happen to your mother? Can you tell me your mother's name, please? Hattie? Do you know who Abby is? Does anybody know the child's mother's name? Alright, so I'm hearing faint disembodied voices, but the traffic for some reason is really seriously picked up. It shouldn't be that time of day where the traffic's this heavy. So I'm going to shut this down and pick this back up later when the traffic calms down. The little child, I just heard your voice and turned record on. Can you say that again so I can hear you more clearly? Are you trying to tell me something? I have to use this device I'm holding to hear what you say so I can hear it more clearly. It's not uncommon while doing investigations in the Lamb House, I hear from the voice of an elderly person that stated that they fell. It is a known fact many elderly die every year from falls. Later that night, I continued the investigation outside in the front yard. During one of the investigations, when asked where Elizabeth was, a spirit said that she was out front. Someone said that Elizabeth Kimball was out front, outside here. In one of my investigations, is she here? Elizabeth? Elizabeth, do you know Abby? Do you know who Abby is? Who's the female that was dressed in all white that I've seen out here at my front door? She had long dark hair and dressed in white. She was the one looking at Lacey in her crib. Is she looking for her child? Is there anybody out here? Alright, I'm going to go in. It's a little cold out here. So hoping I'd hear from somebody. This is day 3 of the investigation. Due to the hour of the day and the traffic outside, I go ahead and start this day off with a ghost box session. What? I find it amazing what this spirit said. Due to the coronavirus, I'm actually stuck inside the house. All my appointments canceled and I have nowhere to go. It's amazing how these spirits know your daily events. They know what's going on in your life from day to day. You guys hear? Can you guys tell me about this child that's in the house? Somebody said that this was a friend of Abby. The child? The child? Is this true? They're your children? Can you tell me what happened with your children? Patty, are you here? Patty. Edmund, are there remains buried on this property? All right. Do you know who used to own this house? Are you here if you used to own it? Whose house is this? If this house belongs to you, what's your name? Is this my house? My house. I thought maybe at this time it's not a good idea to bring up whose house this belongs to. I'm going to shut this part of the investigation down for now. I'm going to do the final part of this investigation in the upstairs garage. During this part of the investigation, I will try to get confirmation based on everything these spirits told me up to this point. I will be asking a lot of questions about the child. Is the child here? Did somebody hurt you? Who hurt you? The child that said he hurt you. Who hurt you? What did he do to you? What the spirit says next confirms there's a strong possibility a young girl by the name of Hannah was raped and murdered. Before I admit that what these spirits say is true, I have to have confirmation on this, and what this spirit says next to me is the confirmation. At this moment, my heart is filled with sorrow, but there's a side of me that also feels anger. There are times these investigations can be heartbreaking. I shut this investigation down, and as I'm packing up the equipment, I leave one camera recording with hopes I can capture more EVPs. What happens in this garage next is a good indication that these spirits were not finished talking with me about the subject of Hannah. Was that you? You gotta be kidding me. Was that you? You gotta be kidding me. It's not uncommon things or objects move in the lamb house. Although this happens a lot, it's rare to capture this on camera. Right now, most of my concerns are about Hannah. If what these spirits are saying is true, and Hannah truly is a child spirit who is a murder victim, my focus needs to be on Hannah. I'm sorry about what happened to you. But I want to talk to you about something here in a little bit, okay? I want to talk to you about, obviously you're here at this house for some reason, and I want you to be able to go off in peace. I want you to move on into peace. You don't have to stay here. I just want to let you know I have kids myself. I have 2 daughters. In fact, this is a picture of my daughter right here. This is my oldest daughter. This is when she got married. This is Kaylee's mother. Do you know Abby? Do you know who these other children are that are with you? I'm not even sure what town you're from. I don't even know what time era you died in, but I want you to go home. I'm talking about a home, a place of peace. Okay? After doing this recording, my wife messaged me and told me I needed to go to the store real quick because they had toilet paper in stock. Before I run to the store, I decided to set up the SOS cam downstairs here in the living room. I wanted to see if anything would be captured on this while the house was empty. Nothing was captured on the SOS cam after I viewed the recordings. However, when I came back home, there was in fact something that was captured on this after I came back into the house. When I use new equipment, I'm always skeptical whether to claim this is actually paranormal activity or not. The SOS cam is still new to me. I don't like to make claims there's paranormal activity captured on the SOS cam unless I'm certain. However, I gotta say, this is strange. 1 hour before this capture, I was telling Hannah about my daughter in this picture. In my personal opinion, this is really good evidence that the SOS cam does work. And if this does work, if this is a paranormal capture, was this Hannah looking at my daughter in the picture? bright when I put the camera up on it. It looked like it was looking at the wedding picture of my daughter and son-in-law. Don't know if it could have been mapping out those curtains on the reflection or not, but it's not there now. Were you just in here? Hannah. Hi. After 3 more hours of investigations this day, I heard no more from Hannah. In fact, I didn't hear any voices that sounded like a child. It seems to me she moved on to peace after the long talk I had with her. There's one more spirit I need to say something to. And for the man that said you killed her? I'm assuming this is why you're trapped? And I'm assuming you're in a dark realm. I asked the spirit that killed this child one last question to see if he'll answer who Abby is. Is Abby a child? There are things these spirits said that caught my attention. We know there were 2 young female spirits talking during this investigation, and it's clear these spirits talked about 2 young females, Hannah and Abby. Based on what these spirits said, both females were killed. I believe this is the voice of Hannah. Did somebody hurt you? And this is the voice of Abby. And it's also clear based on the evidence, Hannah and Abby are friends. Somebody said that this was a friend of Abby? The child? The child? Based on what these spirits said, Hannah was kidnapped, raped, and murdered by her father. I also believe both girls wanted us to know what happened to them. Did somebody hurt you? And for the man that said you killed her? I don't know when or where these girls died. However, I have a theory. There's a good possibility Abby's mother is also named Abby. It wasn't uncommon back in the day for a daughter to be named after her mother. There's a good chance when young Abby was murdered, older Abby was so distraught over her daughter's death that she committed suicide. This theory is based on what I've heard these spirits said over the past 2 years about Abby. But like I said, this is only a theory. I also believed after I talked with the girls, there's a good chance these girls moved on. You don't have to stay here. I believe you can move on with other children. And obviously there's children around you. And I want you to be happy. I understand what happened to you is not something that was a good situation at all. And I know he hurt you. But you don't have to live like this anymore. You can move on. I want you to be at peace. It's not good that you stay around thinking about what all of the stuff that happened to you. I want you to go home. I also believe Abby's mother wanted her to come home. I believe this was the voice of Hannah letting me know she was leaving. For the past 2 days, I haven't heard any child's voice in the house. I really hope the mother and both these girls moved on. As far as these murderers, I believe they are stuck in a dark realm. I also believe they are angry at me for uncovering their secrets. As far as the basement, I strongly believe there is a portal open into a dark realm, a place some would call hell. I believe there are spirits trapped in this place of hell, along with demonic entities. What's trapping you?
Problem. Spirits.
Just now. What?
You said, learn yourself, suffer.
I don't believe young children become trapped, but it's possible their spirits come to us to let us know what happened to them. Like some adult spirits such as Rachel, they have unfinished business before moving on. I don't know if this is the end of Abby's story. Time will tell. I still don't know the mystery behind Elizabeth, or why these spirits argue over whose house this belongs to. Maybe one day we'll know. These investigations continue.